So here lies the problem. This is a toilet repair I'm doing right now. This is what they call a 4-inch cast iron hub. That is what they did back in the early days. Now back in the day, they used to have a lead fitting that would come up kind of like this. Now this is a top pad. This used to repair the ones. Back in the day, we used to take this and drop it down the old sleeve that was rotted around the floor. Now this stuff's all illegal now because they don't lead, so we can't use it. But back in the day, you used to buy a lead, and in the bottom, it would be right here in the bottom, right here, the first inch. There wouldn't be this flare on the top. It would just be a 12-inch high piece of lead, 8-inch high, whatever. And there would be a 1-inch brass ferrule around the bottom. And that would fit, that would go down in this hub. That's shallow because it's in a floor joist. I mean, these were specially designed just for receiving that 12-inch hub, 4-inch lead hub coming up. And what they would do was oakum that and pour some lead around it, and that was it, sealed. And then they'd take a 4-inch brass floor flange, cut it just long enough, peen that lead around that 4-inch flange, and I mean, this lead is very pliable, as you can see. It moves very easy, so you just bend that around. Now this isn't it, but this is, I'm just showing, the lead would just bend around your ferrule, and then you would take, this is oakum, and this swells. When it gets wet, it swells up like crazy, and that's what would seal the joint. And back in the day, we'd use this. This is lead wool. We would use lead wool to pack it so we wouldn't have to heat up and smelt the old lead. I used to do that as a kid. How I don't have fucking lung cancer is beyond me. We used to, that was my job as a helper, taking the old lead and melting it down, taking impurities out of it. But that's your oakum, that's your lead wool. Now there's not enough room to do that here, and it just doesn't hold up that great. So I'm gonna go with that. And what I've done many a time in the past is you get that as clean as you can. I'll buff it up a little bit with a wire brush. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this 4-inch by 3-inch reducing coupling. 4-inch below. I do the 4-inch, the 3-inch, because it gives me something to seal down to underneath that, you know. So what I plan on doing here is I'll put a little weight on that, and then I will pour hydraulic cement, and I'll fill that whole thing right up to seal it and give it some strength. And let her dry, and then I got a 3-inch floor flange, and I'll show that later, and I'll pop that right in and screw it the best I can down to this floor. I mean, it's not going to work great because there's not that much to screw the floor flange to, but we'll see what we can come up with. But that's it. That's the only way you can fix these things without turning it into a complete nightmare. And it's worked. I've done them several times. As long as the toilet's secure. I mean, I'm gonna glue this toilet to this floor. More worried about it moving than anything else. You don't want these things to move. They move, and they're gonna start cracking, they're gonna start leaking. But they usually don't leak, because they only leak when they get stuffed and there's pressure. If the flush is going through, it generally will just work its way right through. So somebody just flushed. So, all right, so we'll continue from that. Now there's the first coat. And you gotta, I mean, this stuff is not easy to work with. But I got the thing in there, and you just put it in a little wet, and you kind of pour it a little bit. But this shit works quick. So as it gets harder, you just keep working it down in that joint. You can see it's pretty good. And you leave it access. You can't let it get hard on top, because you're not gonna get through. So you gotta pack it in there. And the next one I'm gonna pour loose, and I'll fill it right up to the top of the white.
Greatest hits 98.3 TR.
And that should keep that son bitch in there tight. And you got a 3-inch thing there, and my closet flange, it's a 3-inch female. It'll fit right into that bad boy. It reduces a little bit, but unless you got a gorilla fucking size shit, you should be able to get her in there and flush. Especially with this old Kohler, 3-gallon flush. So that's that. You can see how it looks. It looks pretty good.
Okay, now I do want to reiterate, people grieve in different ways, and it's her party she's throwing for her husband, right? So go for it. But to me,
I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna give it another coat.
recently of my high school softball
And then I'm good.
I saw his big beautiful cool portrait.
All right, here's your finished product for the. You can see it's pretty good. And just slope it down. For whatever reason, if you had a leak, that's a good thing, but at least it slopes down. And this is hard as a rock. So now I'm just gonna glue up the flange. This is not gonna be an easy thing to screw down, because there's nothing to screw to here, so it's gonna be a nightmare. But here you've got a fitting that is not going anywhere. It's as solid as a rock. It's filled in fine. So I'll show you the finished product after I get done. Into the floor. That thing is solid. I'm just going to use this standard. I like the ones with the horn, especially when you got the 3-inch. Those are fine. Now I'm going to glue this toilet down because floor's on level and it's a 1,000-year-old toilet. And it'll come up if it needs to be. So I'll show you the final when I'm all done with it. But that's it. Quick, easy, and finished. Not a $1,000 bill from your plumber.